Hello everyone, welcome back to another discussion video for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. My name is Ella and today we are discussing episode 5, Truth. So if you haven't seen that one yet, go ahead and pause this video and then come back to me once you're finished. Okay, I feel like I have so much that I want to say about this episode and yet so little because I don't know where we're going. We have one episode left, and this entire episode that just came out, I was like, where are we going? What are we doing? What is the story here? Because once again, I am just struck with the fact that we have like 6 different storylines going on, and none of them are really coming to any fruition, except I guess maybe if you're considering the idea that Sam is stepping into his title as Captain America, then yes, that's getting settled. We think. We don't know what's going to happen in the last episode. And then the same thing with Carly. Obviously, we have a direction in which Carly is going with her plans in New York. But like, what is she doing and why is she doing it? Like, maybe I personally am just stupid. I shouldn't say that, but sometimes when it comes to Marvel, I am very stupid because I don't know the comics and I don't know plot lines and stuff like that. But even if I am stupid, I don't know what they're doing with this show at all. Shall we talk about the characters again instead? Let's do that. I'm just gonna get John Walker out of the way because I don't want to talk about him for like 10 minutes like I ended up doing in the last video. So I don't like him. I think since he's been introduced, his behavior has been abhorrent, but this episode in particular screamed entitled, self-righteous white man who's throwing a toddler temper tantrum because he didn't get his way. And like, it's realistic. Yes, it's realistic. I will give them that. But like, I'm done. I don't want him anymore. Let him disappear off the face of the earth. I don't care. I don't want to see him anymore. I will say the choreography for that 3-way fight between him and Sam and Bucky, beautiful. Very reminiscent of Civil War. I liked that. But John Walker as a person, as a character, well, let me not say that, because as a character, the writers and everything are doing their job. They wanted us to hate John Walker as a character, and we all do. I don't think I've met anyone who isn't a white supremacist themselves that doesn't, like, I haven't met anyone that doesn't like John Walker at all. So, like, Marvel did their job. They knew what they were doing with John Walker. But if we're looking at John Walker as a person, I don't think there's anything, like, there is not a trait, not a single characteristic about this man that makes me want to be on his side in any way, form, or fashion. The closest he came was when he was telling the court, when they were basically telling him, you're done, you finished. The only time he's ever come close to me kind of agreeing with him was when he was like, I've done what you trained me and raised me to do. Like, I guess I can kind of get that, but like also at the same time, you chose to be a soldier, you chose to do all that kind of stuff, so like, that's on you, that's not on the government training you for a choice that you made. But and he's so, he keeps, like, there's this I literally, my brain is short-circuiting because I hate this man so much and I don't even know where to start with what happened in this episode. But he made a comment about knowing Cap or something like that, and I was like, sir, you don't know Cap at all and you don't know anything about being Cap, I need you to take several seats because I'm done with you. I don't know who he thinks he is. I do know who he thinks he is. He thinks he's Captain America, and he's not. Never, ever. He will never, ever be Captain America. But I don't know who he thinks he is to act the way he does, talk about Cap the way he does, I need him to take his entitlement and go to the opposite side of the entire world because I do not want him anymore. And am I a little bummed that our first post-credits scene for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and most likely only one unless we get one at the end of the finale like we did with WandaVision, yes, I am very bitter that our first, possibly only post-credit scene was John Walker. And not only just that it was John Walker, but it was him feeling so entitled to have Captain America's shield that he's making one himself. And that can only go terribly from there. We all know it. I'm sure he knows it. He thinks he's doing good, I'm sure. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just officially gone off the deep end, which honestly I wouldn't, given the way he acted in this episode. Yeah, he's just a brat to the first degree. And I don't know. I don't want to wish death on like anyone. Okay, maybe a few people. But like if he were to die in the season finale, by any means, I would be okay. I hope Carly gets to do it. I really do. I hope Carly gets to be the one that just yeets his butt across the room and... Okay, that was in poor taste, because that's exactly how Lamar Hoskins died. I take that back. I don't want her to yeet him across the room and kill him, but I do want her to be the one to kill him, if that happens. Although, Sam and Bucky, or either of them getting to kill him would also just be... I don't think they would, but you know. If the opportunity arose, I would support them in their decisions. Zemo, I think we saw the last of in this episode, at least as far as this series go. I have no idea what the future holds for him. They did mention that they were going to be putting him in the raft. That's where the Dora Milaje were taking him. And if you're not familiar with that, that is the prison that was kind of like in the middle of the ocean that they put Falcon and Ant-Man and Clint in at the end of Civil War after that whole debacle at the airport. So that's where the raft is, and that feels like a very specific place to put him. I guess it's because they don't want him to get broken out again. I don't know, but I do think that was the last that we're going to see of Zemo, at least for a very long while. I don't know that he has any other real contributions, I guess, to make to the MCU, but I mean, if we see him again, we see him again. I'm embarrassed to say he is honestly one of the best characters in this show. His dynamic just ended up working really well with Sam and Bucky, and for some reason I was actually kind of a little, I don't want to say like emotional or anything, but like, I don't know, it was kind of a little bit sad to see him like go, and that sounds terrible and it makes me feel a little terrible, but yeah, it was kind of a moment. Sharon we also didn't see a lot of in this episode, and from what we did see of her, I am almost positive now that she is either the power broker herself or she works very closely with the power broker, because she's got, first of all, in this last episode, maybe it wasn't even the last episode, I don't remember which, all these episodes are melding together for me, but I think it was the one where she was introduced, so not last episode, but the last one, I think. I don't know. But whichever one where Sam and Bucky were meeting with Selby and Selby got killed, I think it's common knowledge that Sharon was the one that killed her, but it was the way that there was that immediate, like seconds after Selby was shot, there was already a bounty for Sam and Bucky, and like who could have done that unless they were like there and knew it? So like, was that Sharon? Quite possibly. I don't know. I've also seen a lot of people talking about the fact that Sharon might be going villain in this show, and like I said, I don't know much of the comics outside of Thor comics, but I don't know if that's like a plot line in any comic. I don't know if she actually does become a villain. I think it'll be kind of interesting because I do feel like they kind of played her definitely morally gray in this show. So I think it would be interesting to see if she goes full villain. I don't know what would happen if that happens. I think it would be weird, but I do think it would be interesting. Also, on the topic of Sharon Carter, through her we are reintroduced to Batroc, who is a character that we haven't seen in a very long time. I think when we saw him was Winter Soldier, I think is the last time that we saw him. It's been a while since we've seen him, and honestly, I don't even remember like anything about him except that he fought with Cap at the beginning of that movie. Maybe he was also a big part in the fight at the end with the helicarriers. It's been a bit since I've seen Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but I cannot for the life of me understand or remember, I guess, why Batroc would want to kill Sam. I don't know if I missed something or if it would just is something that hasn't been discussed yet, which could be possible. That could be referencing something that we don't know about yet, but might find out in the last episode. I don't know. But I'm interesting to see what this bodes for the finale of this show. While we're on the topic of the bad guys in this show, Carly. Yikes. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I don't know where they're going with her. Like I mentioned in my last video, I feel like she's kind of like a foil for Captain America, but I feel like I've kind of changed that thought process a little bit in the sense that I think obviously Steve Rogers Captain America and John Walker Captain America, if you can even call him that, are obviously two ends of the spectrum. Cap got the serum, was good, became better. John Walker got the serum, was bad, became worse. And I feel like they have Carly here in the middle, who could lean either way. She could go very good or she could go very bad, and I think very bad is the way that she's leaning right now. But I feel like she's supposed to be that morally gray area that has all the goodness of Cap but also has some bad qualities that we might associate with John Walker. And it's very, I don't know, like I honestly feel like she could go either way, and obviously whichever way she goes is going to affect what happens not only just in this finale but possibly with the MCU as a whole. So I'm interested to see what they do end up doing with her, because honestly I feel like they're really leaning into playing her as a villain right now, and I think that was kind of the point of this show. But I feel like she is still redeemable, and I know people don't like having villains redeemed or anything like that, especially if they don't like put in the work or anything like that, but I don't really think, at least for herself, and I guess that could be said of any villain really, but I don't think she ever considered herself to be a bad guy, but it's just kind of happened. And so I don't know, like I this whole show is an entire mess, and I really don't know where they're going with a lot of characters. But Carly especially, I feel like she could be such a good return character if they handle her correctly. But I feel like at this point they're just gonna have her do bad things and then have her be punished and possibly killed because she did bad things. And I don't know how I feel about that. And lastly on our slate of bad characters? Quote, question mark? I don't know. This mysterious Val lady. As I have said many times just in this video alone already, I'm not very familiar with the comics at all. So I don't know who Val is. I have seen a few posts on Twitter with the term Madame Hydra. And all of those posts, none of them specifically said that she was Madame Hydra, but just like using my correlation skills, which are admittedly shoddy at best, but I'm assuming that this Val character lady is Madame Hydra, and I don't know, again, what that is going to bode for the finale of this show or for the MCU as a whole, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see what happens with her, especially since she seems to want to team up with John Walker, which is big yikes. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with her. My battery is about to die on my camera, so I'm really upset that I'm not going to get to talk about Sam and Bucky as much as I want to, but they were great in this episode. The domestic fluff, I'm just going to say it as domestic fluff, between them was absolutely wonderful in this episode. I really think they're finally getting up to that like friendship bond that we all wanted them to have at the beginning of this show, so it's really exciting to see them kind of grow into that and get into that a little better. So hopefully that sticks through the rest of the show. I say the rest of the show like there's more than one episode left, and there's not. There's just the finale. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with them in the finale. I'm excited to see if/how they tie all of these different plot lines together. And I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. I know I ended that really rushed, and I'm really sorry about that, but I promise that my next video for the finale is going to be hopefully a little bit more in depth once we have more information about what happens with the show. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that little bell icon if you'd like to be notified whenever I post a new video. If you watch me for Marvel, I'll be back next Friday for a video about the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And if you follow me for my regular videos, I will be back on Wednesday with hopefully my Universal Yums unboxing, and if not, then just a general life update. So, having said that, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye!